just like that. Away. Just like that, she's gone. It just pulls away. One day. Oh boy.
Good morning, YouTube. And when I said good morning, I really mean it. It's 5 o'clock in the morning, 5:20. Saturday, another Saturday. It's been a while since my last broadcast, so a lot of things happened. I didn't want to make a video just about nothing. You know, hey, look, you know, I'm still alive. So here's what's going on. Bougeye sold that car. Guy came out, local guy from town, you know, a couple towns over, so I'm probably gonna see car around here and there. Looked at it, loved the car, drove it. He's like, that's it. So looks like his dad bought it for him or something, because dad was pulling out cash. So $11,900. Good sale, I think it's a good price. So yesterday he picked it up, we went registered, transferred the car over, good to go. White one is still for sale. I had another guy right after Bugeye, another guy came to look at the white one. I don't know, he was picking and everything, just picking on every little thing on it. Oh, what about this? What, you know, it's like, well, it's a, you know, it's a used car, so if you want a new one, you can go buy a new one for $20,000. I mean, I'm selling that white one for $10,900 for, you know, $11,000. So I'm like, you can probably go to dealer and find one for $14,000 in a better shape. So he was just at the end, he's like, well, I'll give you $7,000 for it. I'm like, no, thanks, you know, thanks a lot, thanks for coming out, you know, taking your time, but I'll have to pass. So anyway, he's like, oh, I'm gonna go home thinking about it. I'm like, sure, no worries. So anyway, the white one's still for sale. I'm driving right now to pick up STI transmission with the rear diff, and I'll have transmission today. I'll probably start putting transmission in, so transmission's in place. I got a whole bunch of parts. I mean, boxes are coming in every day from UPS and postal office. My wife's kind of freaking out a little bit because it's like all this coming in. She's like, where is all this coming from? What's going on? How much money? You don't want to know. Don't even want to. At some point I just don't want to count, but it's gonna be great. So anyway, I'll update this video with probably some more content at the end with other things happening, probably working on transmission, or I'll give you an update on the car. The whole front's getting painted, engine's getting put together sometime, transmission is coming together, the build is coming together. So I'm confident in the next 2-3 weeks this thing's probably gonna roll out of the garage and start tuning and all of that good stuff. So good morning. My GPS been just, look, driving on a highway, perfect weather. Look at this thing. It got me all over the neighborhoods, showing me, I'm like,
to the route.
Yeah, there you go. See, I'm like in some subdivision right now.
In a quarter mile, turn right onto Klein Road.
Look at this. Doing 82 miles on the highway. It's thinking I'm in some subdivision in there in the forest. Look at this thing. Just wait. Just wait. It's gonna find me. This phone's been doing this for a while. I mean, I'm sick and tired of it.
Turn left onto Poplar Street.
Oh, look. Great. Let's see if it finds me. And it's been doing it for a year or so.
Proceed to the route.
Look.
At the stop sign, turn right onto Hawthorne.
What stop sign?
At the next stop sign, turn left.
So anyway, that's my story. I am about 15 minutes away from my house. Good trip. We got everything we needed. I am happy. I'm gonna bring this transmission home, unload, and I'll start putting it in and all the good stuff. So, and look at this mileage that just happened right there. Look at that. Look at that mileage. 77,777 miles. This car drove. Let's put that back in. Come on, come back. Yep, there you go. 7777. Lucky number or what? I mean, that just doesn't. That only happens once. And I just literally 2 miles ago, I looked at it. I was like, oh, that's gonna be 777. So anyway, what's going on, YouTube? Quick update for you guys on this car. So all the parts is ordered. Engine, the block and the heads are in the shop getting overhauled, measured, making sure they are within the spec and the perfect shape, in and out. I put her back in the wheels. The front is at the paint shop, getting painted. I got her back on the wheels and I want to clean her up. All this stuff right here, all that little, I mean, the back firewall is great, but I want to get all that oil out and make her nice, clean, shiny. For me, the motor and performance just as important as the looks. I mean, you have to be able to open the hood and you have that $20,000 engine in it, and it has to look like $20,000. You know, I don't want any, you know, oil and dirt and all of that stuff. So we're gonna pull her out and I'm gonna degrease it, pressure wash it, and make this shine. So let's get that going. She's clean. No, this is pretty good, very nice, very clean, as much as she can be. All right, she's an old car. So, and now I need to push her back in, but I have no one at home to help me out. But Jonah, you gonna help me or what? No. So we're just gonna pull some magic in here. Bugeye is gone. Selling this guy, just some views and some people looking at it. Today I picked up 6-speed STI transmission. So the owner that sold it to me, he took it apart, he looked at it, he inspected it, and he resealed it again with our TV, and he told me that everything looks great. He had it as a spare transmission for a long time, for a couple of years. He said he bought it used and he was just sitting in his back burner just for backup. Now he opened it, looked at it, everything looked great, sealed it back up again. So we're good here. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna lift it back up. I'm gonna get the OEM drive shaft out and a rear diff, and we're gonna stick this guy in, and hopefully maybe tomorrow or Monday we'll put a trainee in as well, so it's all ready for the motor. Motor is block has been done and it's waiting to be assembled. Just came out of the machine shop, looks great. It's been decked, honed, cleaned, dipped in the acid and pressure tested. So it's great shape, and it's ready to be put together. I have all of the parts. For this project, for this assembly, for the short block. They are keeping heads. I want them to do the head job, and good thing I did, because there was a small issue that one of the guides for a couple of the valves were worn out and they had a little play in them. That's why they didn't probably had a great compression, couple of the cylinders. So they're rebuilding them. So that's good news. So anyway, let's get this thing up in the air, get the drive shaft out, that thing right there. Put the 6-speed rear and a drive, and hopefully tomorrow we'll stick the 6-speed inside and have it ready to go. Yeah, I got an NVIDIA catalyst downpipe. This thing is humongous, huge. Look at the size of this thing. Wow. Anyway, good stuff coming. Don't change the channel. Someone had a yeah, protective cover or whatever you call it primitive racing cage for the rear diff, so gonna get that out right now, get a shaft and work on this. This is OEM Subaru exhaust. We'll see what happens to that. My plans are to upgrade it, but I don't know if it's gonna happen now or later. But for now, we're after the diff. Okay, doke. Same day, 1 hour later, or 30 minutes later, I got this is the one that I purchased, and this is the OEM from this car. They look the same to me. This one is a little bit of rough shape, so, and there was no differential fluid in it. When it came out, it usually spills a little bit because it was on the side. Nothing came out, so I'm afraid it was dry. So anyway, here you go. Let's put this guy in and work on remaining of this. Good morning, Sunday, next day, and I want to do a little bit of update for you. This is going to be technical for next couple of minutes, so it's for everyone who's doing a swap and he's got questions about what transmission, what drive shaft, what rear diff to use, all of that kinds of stuff. So let me explain you really quick. So the STI transmission is 2.5 inches longer this way than the 5-speed. Okay, so now if you put your STI transmission, you cannot use your 5-speed drive line because the transmission is already longer. On top of it, all right, let's not go to on top of it, I'll get to that later. Okay, so STI transmission, already problem. The OEM drive shaft has to go. Now, rear diffs, they come in two flavors, the R160, that's a WRX one, and there's a R180, the STI one. For our builds that, let's say, under 600 horsepower on the wheels, you don't have to put R180. You can just use your R160 rear diff from WRX. It will hold the power, no issues there. My rear diff was rebuilt by this guy. It's completely rebuilt, new seals, new back. I just have to fill it up in. But the problem, if you put a STI drive shaft, your R160, this hub right here, they're different. So the STI one's a little bigger than the WRX. So you need to replace this flange, whatever you call it. This needs to be replaced because the holes are a little bit more wider. You can re-drill the holes if you want to go really ghetto, but I would say replace that. Okay, now, so let's say you replaced it. Now, on top of it, your transmission ratio is, let's say, R 3.9 final ratio, right? On top of it, there is a differential ratio, something. So there's two of them. Up to 2006-ish, somewhere in 2006, they used to be 1.0. From middle of 2006 somewhere, and definitely from 2007 up, they're 1.10. So you cannot use your, let's say, 05 transmission, which is a 1.0, with let's say 2010 WRX, because your rear diff is going to be 1.1. So in reality, they're two different ratios. So you'll grind the gears either in a diff or in a transmission differential. So when you're looking up these kind of things, you always have to consider it. So that's why I bought this guy with this, because he built this one for the ratio of 1.1. So 1.1 transmission to 1.1 rear diff. Okay, so that's another thing you have to consider. Now the drive shafts, very complicated on if you're swapping from different years, but what I need to get is I need to get 2008 through 2012 STI drive shaft, and it will go in with, because I already have this replaced, the 2008 to 2012, not WRX, this is WRX. The STI is going to be a little bit shorter one, and I need to find the STI drive shaft for 2008 through 14, and it's going to go right in and make it work. So that's a little bit of the info on what's going on in here, because you can tell that the two drive shafts, they're different. This is your OEM, this is the STI that came with this 2007 STI, but I need this to be the 2007 STI. Well, I need it to be longer or shorter than this, and they're too much apart. I mean, this one is too short for me, and this is too long. So anyway, so I need to find 8 through 14. Yeah, and your clutch, you need to get from, well, depending on what year transmission, the old STIs have this kind of slave cylinder for your clutch versus this guy, this slave cylinder. The WRX slave cylinder on 814 mounts on top in here, on top right here, and pushes in the STI on this side and pushes the pull. So push versus pull. So anyway, so make sure you have a slave cylinder for your clutch as well. And of course you need all the STI linkages, because transmission is longer, so your linkage is gonna be a little bit different. So you must have your STI links for your shifter. You must have that, and your subframe, and you should be good to go. I mean, I know it's a little bit complicated, but boy, it makes sense once you figure this out. All right, so this is it. Done with the technical stuff. All right, guys, Sunday update. Transmission still here. Rear differential, rear diff, R160 is in. If someone tells you you can't do it yourself, the rear differential, oh, it's too hard, you can't do it yourself, I got it in. This is the one the painted one that's I got from the guy that's matching the transmission. I got it all in myself. When I took the cover off, I found out how my original one got lost all the oil. So this cover, you can't see the leak right there, but looks like this plug right here, the bottom one, wasn't tight all the way, and the oil was dripping inside this protective guard, and no one saw it because it wasn't directly drip. It was probably just flying out when he was driving, but that differential was dry. There was no oil in it because it wasn't tight. So I'm gonna have to refill this one. It's empty right now, but I got all the axles in, everything's in place. And like I said, you know, if someone tells you, well, you can't do it yourself, yes, it's hard, it's heavy. Took a jack to lift that up. That thing is heavy, but you can do it yourself. I did it. So let's get training into place. Hey guys, still Sunday, and I think I'm gonna wrap up this episode because I think it's a good stopping point for this week's events. So let's see what happened in the last 5 days. We sold the Bugeye. Now the WRX is here. I have a couple of people interested. Gonna look at it. We did pick up a 6-speed transmission. I haven't installed it today. There's a lot to it, but I put a shifter, a 6-speed shifter. This is the 5-speed. I pull it out. I got a rear differential back in. I got wiring figured out. Master cylinder is in place. So yeah, yeah, that all ready to go. So what I'm kind of concerned about is lifting that transmission up is very heavy. Took 2 people just to get it out of the SUV. I'm gonna use a hydraulic jack, but I need some kind of support, maybe 2x4s built or something to lift it up, because you can't, I mean, it's probably 200 pounds or so. Anyway, I'll figure that out. So in the next probably day or so, I want to have transmission in. But Ivan just called me, and he said that he was out of town working on a project. So, but he's back in town, and he said he'll be free this week, and he wants to put engine together. So let me show you something. I've been driving around with Christmas in my trunk. All of the block parts were here. So I have my block, all the good stuff, bunch of parts from Subaru, other things. Anyway, so I've been driving around with about $5,000 worth of Christmas here in the trunk, and we need to put that together. So tomorrow we're meeting up 6 p.m. after work, and we're gonna probably assemble short block. Heads should be done about Wednesday-ish. So by the end of the week, by Saturday, I should have block all assembled in here. Yeah, if I have transmission in, I'll be ready to put it in. The lone block, the engine should be assembled and ready to go. I have a couple small parts that I'm waiting on, but 95% of stuff is here. So next episode, we're putting engine together, putting transmission into the car, and I'm excited. I am excited. It's coming together. Paint, yeah, the guy that's working on it, he said hopefully next week as well he'll have it painted and back to me. I probably not gonna put the parts on the car. I'm gonna keep them in the basement maybe, just because when you're working on the engine and you're leaning over and pushing against it, there's just a chance of scratching stuff up. This is a lot easier to work on. Trust me guys, this is with no bumper or anything. It's just getting in and out. It's magical here. So I think I'm just gonna not assemble this until the engine is in and car started. Once I start the car, I'll put all the parts in. I mean, it'll take me probably an hour. It took, for the rear diff, if anyone's interested how long it takes to do the rear differential, it took me 1 hour to take that thing out and 1 hour to put it back on. So if you working on your car, you need to replace your rear differential or whatever, about a 2-hour job, not a big deal. I did it myself by myself. It was a little bit hard, but it was okay. So anyway, that's the episode. Thank you for watching. Stay subscribed, and next one will be good stuff. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.
So I won't hold back.